On this episode of the Thoughtful Realtor in Sacramento, I'm joined by Jim Pojda, branch manager of the Windermere Sierra Oaks office. Jim is a broker associate, and he's also my manager, so I'm delighted to have you here today, Jim.
Happy to be here. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Yes, absolutely. And I can't wait to talk to you about a lot of the changes that are going on in real estate. And maybe we can give some good information to new agents and also consumers.
For sure. Absolutely. Looking forward to it. We'll do a deep dive into all of that.
So tell me a little bit about your background, Jim, and how you made your way into real estate.
Sure. I started my career working in high tech, working at IBM and then Oracle, and then also went to a high tech startup for a while. And all of that's on my LinkedIn profile. But what you can't really read there is my grandparents were both in real estate. And my father-in-law has sold commercial real estate for over 40 years. So my startup got acquired and my grandma called me and said, Jim, it's time for you to consider getting your license. And so she was right. And I got my license in 2004, joined a firm in the Bay Area. And after my first year was in the top 5% of my company for sales volume for our office. And so I went to a gathering and some of the leadership team asked me, would I mentor newer agents as they were coming into the business? And I said, I would. So I mentored a lot of the new agents from 2005 until 2009, and a lot of them did really well. Some of them sold 16 or 17 homes in their first year, which is pretty good, especially for the Bay Area price point. But the market shifted in 2009. It was distressed. 27% of the market was distressed sales. So I remember going to a Brian Buffini conference in Monterey, and he told us all to survive the next few years, we have to get certified in distressed properties and understand how to work with those clients. So in 2010, if you asked me, Jim, how many distress sales are you working on right now? How many listings? I was juggling between about 35 to 40 listings every day, either homes that we were getting ready for the market, homes that were on the market, or homes that were pending a bank approval. And we were getting the banks to approve our short sales in a few months instead of 6 or 9 months like most of the agents in the field. So our leadership team asked me to develop a curriculum and teach short sales for the company. And I had a lot of fun doing that. And realized quickly, I really liked selling real estate, but I really loved serving the realtors and the realtor community. And so in 2012, I joined the leadership team at my company. And then in 2020, about 5 years ago, I had an opportunity to start leading our Sierra Oaks Windermere office. And I've been there ever since.
Yeah. And that's where I met you. I actually met you at a Sacramento Association of Realtors educational conference that you were teaching on, I think, the listing agreement or the purchase contract.
Yeah.
And I was really looking to join a brokerage. I was a brand new agent. And just everything you were saying really resonated with me. And I felt like you were such a good teacher, which you are. So I feel like your educational, the educational piece and the training piece that you bring to agents is extremely valuable.
And I have fun doing it, right? We story tell.
Yes.
We don't just read the contract. We don't just read the agreements. I think stories are important as far as an element of teaching, so people relate and understand and memorize the content a little bit better, not memorize, but understand the content better through storytelling. And I did that when I was working with buyers and sellers as well, right? When I would walk them through different situations with our transactions, I'd always tell them a story or an example. It's just a better way of teaching, whether you're in my role or you're a realtor. Yeah.
So running a brokerage or an office today, what are some of the challenges that you're up against that may be different from when you first started out?
Well, when we first started out, when I started selling real estate to do a market analysis, we had to have a big map and we had to look at horizontal and vertical access points to figure out what data points to put into a computer system that was not much better than DOS.
Oh, no.
And figure out how to price a home, right? And now with our new technology, we can draw a polygon or different shapes to figure out what neighborhoods and school district boundary lines that we want to use. So technology has evolved so much every year, and it continues to do. I'm a big tech nerd, having a tech background. I love artificial intelligence. I have my own custom GPT that you can check out as well, called Jim's AI Brain. So it's got 20 years of curriculum that I've taught from classes all into the system where you can interact with it. And I present that at the associations and for our office to use. So it's come a long way from horizontal, vertical access on a Barclay map. And so I'm glad to see real estate moving in that direction.
One of the things I can attest to is we have a whole AI training program that we have at our office, and I think other offices do something similar. But with the landscape changing so much with how people are interacting with their agents and how agents are working, I feel like that's such an important piece nowadays.
Yep.
And it's also an important piece for the consumer because they are using AI and the internet more than anyone now to find homes or sell homes.
Yeah, and we have a whole AI advisory committee here at Windermere. I'm on the committee, and we're exploring a lot of different tools that we're using with AI. Several of our tools, like Maxa and different parts of our suite, already have artificial intelligence built in. And so we're trying to integrate even more every single month as we go forward.
Yeah. And so, one thing about the artificial intelligence piece in the real estate landscape is people still need a human connection, in my opinion. So, I don't think we're going out of business as real estate agents. I think it's still very important for people to have a human connection with their agent, an actual agent that
Yep.
represents your interests. So, what do you think about that?
So artificial intelligence is an amazing assistant. So that's how I use it in my business. I have different projects set up as departments. So if I need help with marketing, I go to that department that's set up within my system. If I need help writing a draft, I've got something for that. And so I use it more as my right hand. And I don't ever see it replacing the realtors because 80 to 90% of what we do in our jobs with customer service is psychology and helping people when they're nervous, helping people get through challenges they're having emotionally, as well as sometimes the finances that they're having questions with. That AI can get you to a certain point, but you need someone to look at it objectively with you as well. And so AI has its place. It's a great assistant. It will optimize your time. It optimizes my time every day with email and everything else. But I don't see AI replacing realtors at all, just helping you do your business each day.
Yeah. And to your point, why do you think it's important? Because I think it's important for people to have an actual agent. Why do you think that's really still an important thing instead of just doing everything online?
Yeah, I'll give you kind of this to think about. We moved up to Rockland about 7 years ago from the Bay Area. I didn't know the area, and I'm a broker, and I've been a broker for a long time, but I still hired a realtor to help my family move from the Bay Area to our home that we found in Rockland because I didn't know what were the Melrose taxes, what were the school district boundary lines, what were the good schools to be in, what were the areas to avoid, right? And AI can do a great job helping you with some of that stuff, but really you need an expert that knows the ins and outs. And even my agent was able to connect me with some of the neighbors that she knew to talk to them before we even made an offer. AI cannot help you do that. Right? And so that personal connection, realtors have the ties to the communities. AI can search all they want, but they can't help you find a really good hairdresser, which is, I think, pretty important to most women moving from out of the area to find a good hairdresser or anything that you need here in the area. And I think the agents that are able to provide that level of service and not just do the paperwork are the ones that are going to really succeed.
Yeah, and Windermere is really what we call a full service brokerage. Can you tell people what that is as opposed to a different type of brokerage?
Yeah, there's all different models in real estate. There's models like Help You Sell that have been around that are more limited service. And then there's more of the mid-tier. I always like to think of brokerages like a shopping mall. So if you go to a Westfield shopping mall, there's lots of stores, but there's anchor stores, right? So you've got maybe Target on one side, Macy's in the middle, and Nordstrom at the end. You're going to go to all three stores for very different reasons, right? And so if you want full service, you're probably going to go to Nordstrom. So our company, Windermere, is the full service brokerage. If that's the model you're looking for as a buyer and seller to optimize your time so that you can be focused on your family and work, we're probably your solution. But if you want to save money, there's lots of other options out there. So it's really based on what you need as a buyer or seller as far as what brokerage you might gravitate to. But if you're looking for the service and the highest level of negotiation for your properties, the highest level of marketing standards, that's what we represent.
Yeah, and I think it's buying or selling a house is one of the biggest transactions of your entire life for most people. So are you going to pinch pennies when you do that? Would you do that when you hire a lawyer? Probably not. I think AI and tech has its benefits, but I think having a personal relationship with a realtor is something that's going to be lasting.
For sure. And the relationship shouldn't be transactional. It shouldn't just be getting you from the start of the home buying process to the close of escrow. It should be a lifelong friendship with the realtor that you work with. That's how it should be designed, in my opinion, because you're working on their biggest transaction and they can guide you after sale with contractors, with handyman, with roofers, with anyone you need in the community. So lean on your realtor.
Yeah, I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about we've had a lot of changes in the law regarding realtors and real estate in the last few years. And I feel like so many people are confused out there about how do realtors get paid? Can you give us in real simple terms, just let us know how are agents paid on the buyer side and on the seller side, and maybe what are some options that consumers have?
Yeah, it's a good question. And the lawsuit really was about transparency, making sure buyers and sellers fully understand how realtors are paid. And really, it's been simplified, right? So when you first enter in to work with a buyer's agent, you're going to sit down and review an agreement on how they're paid. And you're going to come to an agreement on the commission you're willing to pay or have as part of your transaction. As a seller, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to have a listing agreement in front of you. You're going to see the value that your agent provides, the marketing they provide, maybe the staging consultation, and then you're going to negotiate a fee based on what you agreed to. So it's all transparent the entire way, a little bit more than it was in the past. And that's really what the lawsuit was about, transparency and making sure everyone's clear up front. And that's been accomplished.
I think it's an absolute win all around for both realtors and real estate professionals and also consumers, because transparency is what we all want. And if you're a consumer and we're talking to you about the process, things might seem a little different than they were before.
Yeah.
But I feel like our job is to educate the consumer and guide them through the transaction so it's not so scary, right?
Yep.
A lot of people I talk to, they have no idea when they walk into my office, okay, how do I pay for this?
Right. Yep.
So I think the process is a lot easier and it's a lot better all
I
around.
agree. Absolutely. So it's a good change.
So what are some things that if you, let's say you're a newer agent and you're looking to work at a brokerage, what are some things that newer agents maybe should look for that will help their development with a brokerage?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I'll just give you an idea of how we work with our new agents. So the first thing I do when a new agent talks to me about considering our brokerage is I have them meet with our in-house mentor. And that's the first meeting because
Love her.
She's wonderful. And
Yeah.
so that's the first impression. But we also give them a tour of the office before they even meet with her and really let them understand the caliber of an office they're walking into as far as environment. We provide them with a menu right when they walk in, like you're walking into the Ritz-Carlton. We're at the Ritz-Carlton, you'll get a warm cookie. And do you want to go by the fireplace? We give the same kind of welcome to not only our agents that come to the office, but also our clients, our buyers and sellers. And so they get a menu where it's got water and cookies and crackers and different things that they can choose from to be comfortable. We move them into a conference room where we have their name on the screen, right? So some of my buyers where I did that with them when I was selling homes, they still remembered me doing that and said, hey, I still remember when you put my name in lights.
Yeah.
And so that's how we set the stage when you're a new agent or seasoned agent coming into our office. And then you meet with our new agent mentor for a while. And then I meet with you one-on-one as well. And during that meeting, I figure out what you're looking for, make sure you understand the coaching that I provide and the support you're going to get here. And we have a 6-week Elevate training program. Once you come on board, that you get really calibrated with everything from contracts to disclosures to lead generation to how to build your business. So we're really focused on helping agents thrive in their business and build a business for long-term success, more of the warm lead generation approaches versus the cold lead generation approaches, so that you can sustain for a 20 or 30-year career. And those are the elements that I would be focused on if I were a new agent, is to bring it back home. Who's going to be my mentor to guide me through? Who's going to be my manager to coach me? Because you should have mentoring and coaching, and that's what I provide, right?
Yes.
And what's the atmosphere of the office meetings, and how does that look, right? So for me, I have guest speakers that come into our office meetings, and quite openly, they're scheduled out to about November right now, and today we're sitting in May, right? So I never walk in each week saying, gee, I wonder what we should do this Wednesday for an office meeting. It's pre-planned months in advance with a lot of forethought. And I have a theater background, so everything I do is choreographed, right? So when you walk in the morning, the music's playing, And then we have a good time with some inspirational videos. Our speaker is there and very dynamic. And then even when you leave the room, the music fades back up as you exit. Because I feel my job is not just to have you come to a meeting each morning, but to inspire you to be productive throughout the week. And so that's my mindset going into each meeting is how am I going to give them education while providing inspiration to make sure they feel that little uplift so that they carry that throughout the week, because clients are challenging sometimes. Buyers or sellers are not always at their best.
This is a tough business.
It's a tough business, right?
Yeah.
So they're not always at their best because the 3 stressful times of your life are death, divorce, and moving. Those are the top 3. And a lot of the times we're working with not only just one of those, but all 3 at the same time. So a lot of the times you get some anger and some problems on the buyer or seller side that are all emotional. And it's our job, like I said, the psychology, to help people through those emotions. And that takes a toll on realtors. And I like to be able to help them have a great moment coming to our meetings, coming to our trainings, to get them through those emotional roller coasters that we have in our industry.
I think culture is so important. If you're a new agent and you're looking to find a brokerage to work with, the culture that you have at the office is critical. I know just from my experience coming to our office meetings, they're always varied, they're always changing, they're always inspirational and educational. And so if that's the type of environment that you're looking for, I think Windermere is a great place to be.
Agreed.
The other thing I really like about our office is it seems like it's a very collaborative work environment.
For sure.
We all try and help each other, right? We all try. If someone needs help, we'll help them out instead of just going, we're all competing, but I feel there's plenty of business to go around anyway. But I love that about our office.
Yeah, and that's guidance I give to agents all the time, is that agents need to be collaborative, helpful, not only in our office, but when you're on a transactional sale and things sometimes get a little bit heated, it's our job to be the rock and to stay solid. That's what the clients are relying on us to do. Yeah.
And one thing I really appreciate about working with you is that you're always accessible. I try not to abuse your accessibility. If I don't need to bug you, I won't. But if I have a question or a concern or a transaction's going sideways, I know I can always call you and you will give me probably the best practice advice. And it's going to be really good advice. It's going to keep me out of trouble. It's going to solve the client's wishes and desires. And so I think that's another great element of our office.
Yeah, I try to be as responsive as I can. If I'm in a meeting, I will text you right away saying I'm in a meeting. I can call you back in 20 minutes. And so I know time is critical when clients are really wanting to know an answer from you. So I try to get back as soon as I can.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jim, can you talk a little bit about the transition we've recently gone through with, I know Windermere bought us out about 5 years ago, if I'm not right.
Yeah.
And just how Alain was such a big name in the Sacramento community for good reasons and maybe bad reasons. And a lot of people don't know about Windermere because I think it's primarily in the Pacific Northwest. Is that right?
Yeah. Seattle, Washington is the foundation of the company and where it was built. But the alignment between the companies is very similar, right? So Alain was family owned and operated. Windermere is also family owned and operated, which I love. That's what attracted me to the company, because in the Bay Area, I worked for Alain Pinel Realtors, which was also family owned and operated. We're also part of leading real estate companies of the world. Alain Pinel was part of that network. Alain was part of that network, and Windermere is part of that network. And that network, any brokerage can apply to be part of it, but only the best actually get through the approval system. So they don't just take anyone.
So what is that? Yeah. Can you tell us what that is?
So Leading Real Estate Companies of the World is the largest independently owned and operated brokerages worldwide. So if we have a referral to a buyer that wants to buy a home in China, we can find a great brokerage in China to help that client, or in Florida or Arizona or anywhere worldwide. And it's actually a massive network. You can actually go to their website and check out the full platform if you have a second. So it's an amazing part of our service ad.
Yeah. And also in terms of our marketing, we can market worldwide, right? Whereas a lot of brokerages don't have that capability.
We're local, but we're global. Right. And so we've got that local feel, local, family owned and operated. We can pivot faster than the larger companies can, and we can change to where our agents need us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you were a new agent starting out, what are some pieces of advice that you would give to someone just starting out?
Yeah. And I just think back to when I was new and how I started. One of the biggest tips I would give is get to know the top producers in our offices and see who you align with the most and take them out to breakfast and pick their brain. And in our business, we have to recognize that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth by design.
Every day I remind myself of that.
In sales, we have to, because sales is not a born trait. It's a learned trait, right? So what I mean by that is when you're talking to the top producers, you should be listening 95% of the time, and then 5% asking them great questions to invoke them speaking 95% of the time. That stays true whether you're working with the top producers or a buyer or seller as well, right? And so that's just a great practice for sales professionals to understand. But when you're meeting with these top producers, ask them, how did you grow your business? What are you doing for success? How do you conduct your open houses? What are your best practices for lead generation? Listen, absorb, build that relationship. And at the end of that breakfast, ask them to be one of their preferred open house hosts, because most top agents have more listings than they can actually serve themselves. So if one of our top agents has 10 listings, they can't be at 10 open houses this Saturday. So they need the new agent support. And so you want to ask for those preferred open houses. Preferred meaning you want the first weekend when a home goes on the market. That's when you're going to get the highest traffic. And those opportunities are going to come from those relationships. So most top agents have a list of 5 or 6 agents that they're going to consistently for open house support or any support. And so you want to be on that list. And then also think about what I call overflow business. So I had a friend of mine that was an agent when I was selling. I remember working at the office late at night around 9 or 10, and he was just working away, and I was picking his brain with different questions. And he said, "Hey, Jim, I'm getting to the point in my career where I don't want to work with any clients that are under $1 million. Would you mind working with all of my clients that are under $1 million?"
Yes.
And I said,
I would
absolutely.
love that.
Happy to do that and send you a referral fee.
Yeah.
And that opportunity came because I was present, because I was in the office. They saw me working. So that's the next tip I would tell the agents is you should be coming to the office quite a bit to get to know the top producers, not just to take them to breakfast, but they're going to be watching you. They watch when you show up for the office meetings. Are you there early? Are you there late? Are you staying around? Are you going on tour? Mm-hmm. So remember, everyone's watching you, and the cream rises to the top. And the top agents are watching who really wants to build their business, and they all want to help you too, right? That's what I love about our office is everyone's so helpful. So if you really want to do this business, we can help you get there. Mm-hmm. And our team will be supportive to get you there if that's what you want.
Yeah, and we have a whole team. It's not just agents working solo. We have you as our office manager. We have transaction coordinators. We have great office administrators and lenders. And so all of those people come together to be the best team possible for our clients and for one another. That's what I think.
I agree. We have an amazing support team, not only just for administrative support. We have a whole marketing coordinator in our office, and we've got technology like Maxa that helps write all of your flyers and social media through AI. So you just log in and it's all done for you. You just have to make 2 or 3 edits. We have an amazing CRM close that's all powered by artificial intelligence. So if you're wanting to use technology to elevate your business, we have the tool chest. Our tool chest is massive, and you don't have to use every tool, but it's there when you need it. So I always tell the agents, pick one, use it for a month or 2 until you get proficient, and then choose the next one. And then spend a few months, get proficient, and then choose the next one. And that's a little less overwhelming than trying to figure out everything all at once.
So I want to shift a little bit towards the consumer vantage point. And if you are a consumer looking to buy or sell or needing to buy or sell, what are some things you would recommend that they look for in an agent to represent them?
Yeah, I would interview a few agents first to see whether or not you really want to spend time with them over the next 2 or 3 months.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Do I even like you?
Do I like you?
Yeah.
Right? And so interview a few people to see whether you connect. It's the motto of people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? And so see whether or not you get that feeling from that realtor. But also, once you do feel that with someone, you need to test their knowledge a little bit, right? How's the presentation of their market analysis? How did they price your home? How well do they know the contract? How well do they know the disclosures? How well are they going to advise you through the negotiation? What have they taken as far as initiative to learn negotiation, right? Have they read books like Never Split the Difference? And have they gone to negotiation classes with people like Lorna Hines and Brian and taken the time to invest in themselves, right? And you can ask those questions right there during your presentation. So really do your homework and make sure you connect with the person and don't feel rushed. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be spending a lot of time with this person. So you want to make sure that there's a connection there and that you can trust them.
Absolutely.
For newer agents, the other thing I was thinking about one of the things that come up a lot with newer agents is they don't know where they're going to get their business from. And one thing that you said was that your focus or I think our company's focus is really trying to build relationships with people so that your sphere of friends and family and associates is where you get your business, and you're not relying on cold calls and things like that. And I think that's such a good way to build your business long term, because it's by referral.
Yep.
You're not constantly out there advertising, and marketing is good.
Yep.
But if you do a good job for one person, they're going to spread your name by word of mouth, and you're going to get referrals.
For sure.
So I feel like we really have an emphasis on that and trying to build that as a long-term career for newer agents.
And when you build a database, when you go to retire one day, you actually have something to sell. You can partner with another agent, you can co-market, you can actually go forward for 10 years and receive referral fees or jump in onto transactions that you want to here and there while you're in retirement. So you're really building a business that can pay you for the rest of your life if you do it right. Yeah. There's a handful of agents in my office that I'm coaching through their retirement plan and pairing them with other agents in our offices to do that. And really, we teach agents how to build a business for life, like I said at the beginning, not just transactional. There's a difference between agents that work transactionally versus relationally. And so we teach the relational approach as far as how we guide agents to do their business. Yeah.
Jim, can you tell us maybe a couple of predictions that you have for the real estate industry in the next, let's say, 5 years from now? What trends are you seeing? What do you think is going to be happening in our business?
We're going to continue to see consolidation. We're already seeing that with a lot of the brokerages right now, but probably even more consolidation with the multiple listing services because of the data integration and things like that. And that's probably a healthy change too, right? And that's not anything new for our business. Some people on this podcast might have remembered a company called Cornish and Carey, who got acquired by another company. And so acquisitions and change is something we can always expect in our industry. And that's what I think most of the realtors love about our business is every morning we wake up and the deals are all different and the industry is always changing. So as much as some people don't like it, they like it too, because it gives you that adrenaline rush of every day's different.
Yes,
and so
sure is.
In our business, there's always going to be changes. If you don't like change, this might not be the place for you. I like change as far as business goes, and I've gotten very good at change management over the years, but you just have to roll with the punches and move through each day.
Yeah. And I think there's really great positive things ahead for consumers in the real estate market. It's easy to get bogged down with a lot of negative press. And I always try to tell people, get into the real estate market. You can do it. There's a will, there's a way. Don't listen to the noise out there that's telling you it's not possible, because we will help you make it possible. It's part of our job. I love working with first-time home buyers. That's one of my favorite things is when I hand the keys to someone that's never owned a home before, that's their first home, I have immense satisfaction.
And there's usually
that.
a few tears that go with that, getting through that process of saving up for the down payment and getting to the finish line of helping a first-time home buyer. So that's the rewarding experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jim, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today and taking your time to come on the podcast and give us some words of wisdom about the industry and newer agents, and hopefully some value to consumers out there.
Absolutely. And thank you for inviting me out. I had a great morning and good time here. So thank you.
And can you tell us where to find you, Jim, if you're an agent and you're looking to join a brokerage, or you're a consumer and you want to talk to Jim about something? Where can we find you?
You can call, text, email me as much as you want. My number, I'll give it to you, 916-838-4585. I'm available anytime you want, but I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Anywhere you want to reach me is just fine. So reach out and I'm happy to set up a meeting with you.
Thanks again, Jim. I love working with you every day. It's always an adventure. It's always a learning moment, and it's always fun.
Good. We'll do this again.
Thanks.
All right. Awesome.
Until next time, thank you for listening to the Thoughtful Realtor in Sacramento, where thoughtful guidance and local expertise support your most important real estate decisions. If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe on your favorite platform, whether Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, and share it with a friend. I appreciate you being here. Clarity, strategy, thoughtful execution.